Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. There's a lot happening in the market this week. Is the market ready to rally or is it about to fall over? Stay tuned, it's going to be fantastic. In the last main market trading session, we saw Russia and China doing quite well, India not so well, and America and Australia just borderline. The US market performed very well, especially in technology. The next FOMC meeting is on the 1st of February. There's currently a 98.4% probability that the federal funds rate will increase by 25 basis points. We can see that whilst inflation with housing remains sticky, core goods inflation has basically come down dramatically. And overall core is actually starting to turn the corner. It's coming down. Average hourly earnings is also starting to show a sign of actually starting to come down, which is very, very positive. We're heading into a big data week, a very, very important data week. Consumer confidence is coming out, ADP non-farm employment change, the ISM manufacturing PMI, JOLTS job openings, and the big kahuna of them all, the FOMC meeting, the statement, the federal funds rate, and the FOMC press conference. We've seen many times recently the price action in the lead up to the FOMC meetings has been very, very positive. And it can get really, really volatile around periods like this. Just keep this in mind. Not just that, we're seeing some very, very large companies report their earnings. Before the opening on Tuesday, ExxonMobil and UPS, Pfizer, Caterpillar, McDonald's, Spotify, the list just goes on. Thursday is a really, really big day. Amazon will report its earnings as well as Apple and Alphabet, the parent company of Google. Before the opening on Thursday, Shell will report its earnings. These are big earnings from big companies. Things could get very choppy inside the markets. The real question is whether the markets can actually support further upward momentum, and that comes through earnings. We can see the S&P 500 price to earnings ratio has normalized out to around 2017 levels at the current time. The real question is how is the economic system handling things from this point onwards? One insight into answering this question is the GDP level, both nominal in dollar terms and real, which is inflation adjusted. You can see that the current GDP levels are both growing. What actually happens in a recession? We see the GDP levels come down. We're not seeing this at the moment. We're actually seeing a very, very strong economic system. What can we expect from the variety of different sectors within the economy in this Q1 2023? Energy and industrials are estimated to grow, as is consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary is a really important sector. It's literally consumers are being discretionary with their money. They're choosing to spend it. Consumer discretionary basically means that people have enough money to go and treat themselves to something. It could be Starbucks, it could be a trip to Disneyland. It could be that Gucci handbag that lady has always wanted. It could be time for that brand new Tesla. And the banks on the back of this are saying, yeehaw, there's more money to loan out to people. So the banks, the financials, are also expected to do well. But what is not expected to do well? Materials. I can hear Peter Schiff already starting to cry. The materials sector of the economy is an industry category made up of businesses engaged in the discovery, development, and processing of raw materials. For example, mining, metal refining, chemical production, and forestry products. They're expected to actually be hit the worst with a negative 24.6% earnings fall. Communication services are also expected to get hit, as is healthcare. Technology also, and utilities. When we look forward to Q2 2023, the analyst estimates are that energy will suffer a very big hit, down 31.4% on its previous earnings. And materials will continue the onslaught in negative earnings, just to be aware of the reductions. You can see here the consumer discretionary is going to continue to do well, and financials as well. This could be a really good thing to keep in mind. Consumer staples will improve. Just keep in mind the out of favor will be energy and materials, according to these estimates. When we look at the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, one of the things that we notice is that it's currently been rejected by a Stanfield level, a smart money sell level at 407.39. And it's really important to keep your eye on the SPY, because the SPY tells a story about the market's confidence going forward. We can also see that we've got two major smart money buy levels through the SLs at 404.83 and 403.53. If we're going to see negative price momentum, we would expect it to stabilize between this 403 and 404 mark. That's giving you X-ray vision on what the markets could potentially do. Given all this background information, it's time to run the numbers. I couldn't resist. Okay, so what we're actually looking at with the S&P 500 SPDR S&P ETF, what we can see is that we've had a very, very good rally, and this rally has actually brought enormous confidence into markets across the board. We've rallied over a key level of once resistance and now support. So we would expect support from the 404.83 level to the 403.53 level. This is incredibly important for crypto. But the question is, why is that? Inside the masterclass, I share many rules, and a very, very important one that we tend to hammer in each and every day is Rule 225. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. The gravity of the stock market is doing really well. That's going to pull Bitcoin up with it. And why is that important? Because Bitcoin pulls your beloved alts with it as well. Even if you couldn't care less about Bitcoin and you just have your beloved alts, you must look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's gravity will impact how you actually profit from your alts. Looking into the main markets, in the past trading session, we saw the VIX, the fear gauge of the market, just falling off a cliff. The fear has been coming out of the market. Remember, price moves in waves. That's also another masterclass rule. And there's many masterclass rules that will never be shared in public because there's so much knowledge required to understand them. The reduction in fear in the markets has driven the markets up, and we can see this in the NASDAQ 100. See this blue line behind the NASDAQ 100? That is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is pulled with the market. Bond prices look to be actually losing their upward momentum. A bit of a sell arc is forming here. We would anticipate some negative momentum in bond prices, which puts positive momentum in yields. There's a very, very bizarre story playing out here. Technically, if the FOMC is going to lower the pace of the federal funds rate increases, we would be expecting yields to decline. We might just get a mean reversion here to this very tight resistance line. There's another resistance line just up here, just a little bit further above this. It could be nothing more than mean reversion that we're seeing. But it's still something that we would be surprised to see at this particular time. We would be thinking that yields would be starting to collapse. Bond prices would be just clearing this resistance fairly easily because they pretty much got above it anyway. But we're not seeing that. This could actually signal something happening with the dollar that may catch a lot of people off guard. There's one key line that we need to keep our eye on with the DXY. We could be getting a little bit of mean reversion here before a continued sell down. But actually, if we get over this resistance level that would play in around the 102.550 mark and start to make our way up, we could be seeing a change in trend of the DXY. And that would, in all likelihood, be accompanied by a change in trend of the VIX. This is definitely something that you want to keep in mind, and we can see gold is above the 1940 level. This is really important for gold. We can see junk bonds, and the symbol for junk bonds is JNK. And I talk about this in TM6 inside the masterclass. I do deep dives on everything inside the MC because there's simply just not enough time to do it in the public channel. And also you need a lot of background information in order to understand the interrelationships between all of these different statistical measures. What we see with junk bonds, JNK, is this is a risk-on activity. And when there's increasing risk on, what we see typically is the markets responding, almost always. But you have to be careful of actually creating relationships that are carved in stone. The financial markets don't play by the rules. They'll break your rules. Always be flexible. When talking about a change in trend for the DXY, if the DXY gets over this 102.060 level, it's looking actually really good. It's tried to attack it multiple times and hasn't been able to get through it. But if it does, we need to be aware of that. Keep your mind on the 102.060 level. If it gets above this, we would expect negative pressure on the markets. If it gets rejected again, that could be really, really good for the markets. Always have a flexible mindset. The markets this year are likely to be very, very choppy, so Rule 4, price moves in waves, is very important, and it's even more important to understand the nuances of this rule. Over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has come up 3.6%. This is really important because when Bitcoin comes up, what happens to the alts? There's a rule for that. It's Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. When it comes to Bitcoin, we've finally passed the 23,250 level. That was a really important level because we've been resisted. The sellers have been defending this level really, really well. We've had the occasional spike through, definitely 3 times, but the 4th time was in fact a charm. The next structural sell levels are just a little over 25,000 to a little under 25,300. Always bear in mind, price is always moving in a wave. It's going up and then coming down, going up, coming down, going up, coming down, going up, and coming down. That's what it does. It moves in a wave. The most important thing that you can do inside the market is raise your synchronization factor with the market. The market is always moving in a wave. So you may say the market goes up. That could be your prediction. And it could come true in 2 days, but it may go down first. Just be aware of this. We know that we control the trade or investment, but it's the market that controls the return. And we can't force the market to give us a return. We just have to go with the market. Doing your CTKS code each and every day is part of your knowledge and your courage. And that's exactly what the market will reward you for. Putting in the hard work always yields the returns. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, but that's to be expected. Yesterday, the shorts really had a field day. They just ramped up and up and up, and the longs came in and said, sure, we'll take your money. And they did. Oh, those naughty longs. We can see that the macro picture looks actually quite strong. And some of the best performing stocks in the stock markets are the heavily shorted ones. Considering it's the weekend, we've seen a lot of activity in the crypto market. But we're still hitting weekend kind of liquidations, 21,305 positions, and a total of 85.77 million. This is a little bit higher. We normally average 20 to 30 million especially on a Sunday, and around that 15 to 20,000 positions, but this is very, very interesting. And if we look at total liquidations across the past 24 hours, 82% have been short. What about the past 12 hours? Ooh, 84% short. Let's make it 85% short. The past 4 hours, 74% short. Ooh, it's decreasing. What about the past hour? Ooh, it's increasing now. 85.4%. Let's make it a high distinction. Well, 85% is a high distinction, a first-class honor anyway. What we actually see here is more shorts have been liquidated than the longs, and that's in stark contrast to what happened yesterday. It very much looked as though we were losing that support, but bull markets and bull market turnarounds are full of failed breakdowns. So just be aware of this. And bear markets are full of failed breakouts. So this is a good thing to keep in mind. Inside the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, I keep everybody's knowledge updated through the LV section. And the LV section is all about the living video section. The past LV sections, LV26 and LV27, have been about the CTKS method version 2. At the start of the masterclass, you'll learn about version 1, which is very, very powerful, and you'll develop skills that are just undeniable. In LV26 and LV27, you'll learn about the CTKS method. Version 2 is an upgrade to version 1, but version 1 is so incredibly powerful. You'll gain skills that no other person will possess by actually going through level 1. The reason I mention this LV section, I'm going to do a new video, LV28, called Failed Breakdowns and Failures of Breakouts. This is a really important topic to consider, especially at this particular time. We cover a lot of really interesting topics in the LV series, like recession prediction, how close are we to one, and I provide my live charts, and wartime trading, what are the opportunities there, as well as how to compare global markets, government data, how to understand depth charts, midterm election volatility secrets. There's so many things that we actually cover, and this is in addition to the main content. We cover an enormous amount of ground just in the daily community channel, but we cover 100 to 200 times more inside the masterclass. If you're interested in a CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship, the Jason Rice CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship is coming up. Please express your interest in the link in the description in this video. The masterclass, because it's so big, it's literally 30 years of knowledge transfer, requires a lot of persistence, dedication, and commitment. The key is to go slow to go fast and do each lesson one at a time using active learning. Just don't sit back. You've got to get involved. Every lesson has new content, including the LV series. I never put out a revision, and what I mean by that, of course, I can talk about things that I've spoken about previously, but there's always new content. Every video inside the masterclass has a new dimension of the diamond, the facet of the diamond of price action. Turning to the top 8 cryptos, it's really important to understand how Bitcoin's gravitational direction will impact your beloved alt. For example, if you're in an ETH, you're buying Ethereum, knowing how Bitcoin's price action impacts Ethereum's is very, very important. And we can see for basically the last 7 days, about the last week, Bitcoin is up 2.25%. So we can see that these percentages are decreasing each day. What does that mean? The sellers have been trying to contain Bitcoin's relative weekly progress, and we can see that it's coming down. We can also see that Ethereum is performing more weakly than Bitcoin. Weakly as in not as strong as. We keep our eye on the stable coins because they're actually important to understand, and we cover this inside the masterclass. USDT is Tether, USDC is Circle, and BUSD is Binance USD. They each tell us a story, but it's like having to be a tracker. There's a lot of deep knowledge required to understand it. When we look at BNB, we can see that it's started to rally up. It's been underperforming for the past week or so, but we can see that it's starting to progress. It's up 4.41%. XRP is down currently 1.38% for the week. ADA has staged a very, very strong comeback after being weak for such a long period of time. It's currently up 6.36%. But one thing to note, stable coins are not stable. There's nothing in these charts that would say the stable coin stays at 0% relativity. It's always $1. It's not, and it's never ever been that case. And when we look at the blue line compared to these alts, we can see they under and over exaggerate what Bitcoin is doing. We can use this to our advantage when we understand it. There's been some changes in the next date. Yesterday, it was Doge, Matic, Solana, Polkadot, AVAX, SHIB, Litecoin, and the stablecoin DAI. What is it today? Let's find out. So what exactly happened? Doge, Matic, Solana, and Polkadot stayed exactly the same. Litecoin and AVAX swapped positions. SHIB said, I'm not going anywhere. And Tron took out DAI on a rather bad date because DAI has been kicked out. Oh, Tron. The further out you go from the top 8, the lower is the relative volume, but the higher can be the returns, and we can see that playing out here. Doge is up 1%, but Matic is up nearly 17%, Solana nearly 7% up, DOT a little over 5%, Litecoin making its way up to 8%. SHIB is not doing too much, only 0.25% up. But look at AVAX. AVAX is rocking and rolling, nearly 21% up, and Tron nearly 3% up. The Masterclass is deeply into pattern recognition. That's why I talk about this Bitcoin gravity and the alts. You can see that when Bitcoin comes down, the vast majority, 99% of the alts will come down with it. And when Bitcoin rallies, it will pull 99% of the alts with it as well. Sometimes you get these delayed reactions like what we saw with AVAX. It's always on, but if you can actually master this, if you can look at a chart and compare it to Bitcoin, you can gain mastery over what could happen to your beloved alts. It's a very, very profitable skill to have. And you'll also find so many rules scattered throughout the Masterclass. The reason that I'm talking about the Masterclass is that I want to make one very, very happy person even happier with the Jason Rice CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship. It's a very, very significant reduction on the price, the investment in the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. And it's made possible through the generosity of Jason in this case, but there are so many people who have generously offered scholarships as well. And the next one coming up is Beardy. As a community, we focus on positive excellence, or our to-be list. Yesterday, being Sunday, I posted out episode 791, the most important skill you need for success, happiness, and financial prosperity. I want to thank each and every person who viewed it, this video, and also who commented. It's just so fantastic to share this time together. There's some absolutely fantastic comments in here. And I love how so many people in our global family reach out and interact with each other and support each other through. It's just beautiful to see. You can see the quality of sharing. Thank you again to everybody who commented and watched. There's so many wonderful comments to share. I'd just like to share Crypto Monkeys. Crypto Monkey said, thanks for the Positive Excellence video, Ken. Such powerful information that you only realize once you realize. I definitely wouldn't have considered positive excellence as a large factor in trading success and life success. Without the masterclass and the daily videos to keep me on my toes, I'm forever grateful. Ken, you haven't just helped me by sharing this knowledge, but you are helping shape my 3-year-old and 6-year-olds too. Multi-generational positive excellence. Wow, Crypto Monkey, that's just incredible. And much love to you and your family from Kate and I. Thank you everybody so much for your kind comments and just loving and helping each other. It's just a beautiful thing to see. A lot of people are going through life pullbacks at the current time, and you just interacting with each other and just sharing your love and goodwill towards each other is just so incredible. It's an absolute honor to know you all. That particular video explains a lot behind the CTKS Creed and just how important it actually is for your success as a trader, investor, and also just to experience a beautiful life. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. These are all positive affirmations that you say about yourself. I'm not saying it for me, I'm saying it for you. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy, I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame, and I never let a problem beat me because I solve it with positive excellence. Better habits create a better life, and we're all about better habits. And the best habit you can ever get is to increase your knowledge. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and Kate and I look forward to sharing tomorrow with you. All the best, my friends, and catch you tomorrow.